Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Fox Sports.
After no walk-offs in the first 22 home games, the Rays have made up for lost time. 3 straight walk-off winners. Today, Tampa Bay goes for a sweep over the reeling Red Sox. This afternoon at Tropicana Field, the Rays will pay tribute to Memorial Day and the men and women of the military. This is the wrap-up game of this series between the Rays and the Red Sox, and the wrap-up game of this homestand. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Rays Baseball with Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Statz. So good to have you looking in. Todd Callis will be joining us throughout the afternoon as well. When you look at the Rays over the last 6 years, they've provided a lot of exciting moments. Well, they've done something here on this homestand they've never done before. They put 3 back-to-back walk-offs together.
They absolutely have, and Joe Madden will use his entire 25-man roster. So if you're active and you're in the big leagues, you had better be ready to contribute, and that's what happened. Game 1, 2-2 tie, bottom of 11. Sean Rodriguez gets a hanging breaking ball. He hammers it. Rays win that game in walk-off fashion, 5-2. Fast forward, 1 day later, Sean Rodriguez coming to plate. No, Cole Figueroa is going to pinch hit off Bert Badenhop. Guess what? He drops in a double. Around comes a game winner, Desmond Jennings. The Rays do it again in a 1-0 game in the bottom of the 9th. And then last night, the marathon, it goes into the 15th. And in the unlikeliest of events right here, a potential double play for the Red Sox. Runners on first and second. Andrew Miller throws that ball into center field. Figueroa comes around to score. And the Rays do it again. This is an exhausted bunch, both of these teams. But I'll tell you what, the Rays have done it 3 times in a row, looking to pull off another win this afternoon before they head out on the road.
Yeah, the Rays have put themselves into a position of a potential sweep here. This afternoon, the Rays wearing caps specially designed with authentic military digital camouflage. Sense of honor and reverence here at the Trop today. Baseball on Sun Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for a small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. And by Bluebell Ice Cream. Well, the Rays and the Boston Red Sox. Rays decked out in the camo caps today. Lineups in the first pitch right around the corner.
Sports and USAA honor Warriors Among Us. In 2007, Danny Dudek was paralyzed from the knees down from an IED blast in Iraq. Since, he has gone on to win 7 gold medals at the Warrior Games. Also, Danny has completed half marathons and sprint triathlons. Danny continues to remain active, serving in the Army's Warrior Transition Command Unit. Fox Sports and USAA honor Lieutenant Colonel Danny Dudek.
Here at Tropicana Field, Jake Odorizzi takes the mound as the Rays wrap up the homestand, looking to sweep the Boston Red Sox. Odorizzi out there for the 10th time this year. And here's the lineup he will face, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Brock Holt leads off. Xander Bogaerts hits second, plays shortstop, hitting in front of second baseman Dustin Pedroia. David Ortiz, the DH, with Mike Kapp at first. Daniel Nava in right. A.J. Przinsky behind the plate. Grady Sizemore in left. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, and he will hit ninth.
Now taking the mound this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays, right-hander Jake Odorizzi making his 10th start of the season, 2-4 record, 4.98 earned run average. However, the last 3 times out, Jake Odorizzi pitching much better than those numbers, pitching with a lot of confidence right now and going up against a Boston team and offense that has been reeling. So Jake looking to take advantage here in the Sunday afternoon tilt.
Rays winners last night in 15, 6-5. They won the first game of this series Friday night with a run in the bottom of the ninth, a 1-0 decision in that one. So it's Odorizzi against the Red Sox this afternoon. And here's Brock Holt stepping in to lead it off for Boston. First pitch of this game is too high. First pitch presented by Pinch-A-Penny. So we are underway. It's a strike on the inside part of the plate.
I know this is the third game of the series, but every time I hear you say Brock Holt, I want to ask you, what movie was he in? Isn't that a movie star name?
It's a movie star name or a rodeo star. He is, after all, from Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey.
So Brock Holt fits that mold perfectly.
Oh, the Stockyards.
There you go. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's hitting .320. Getting a chance to play on the Red Sox infield, and this one is foul. He'll be there at least until Stephen Drew shows up. The idea is that Drew will go in to play shortstop, and they'll move Bogaerts over to third base with the injury to Middlebrooks. Foul ball out of play. Bogaerts. He left late in the game last night. The Red Sox shortstop with a little tweak in the hamstring, cramp. Roller foul third base side again, but Bogaerts back in there in John Farrell's lineup this afternoon. Holt had a couple of hits last night, including a base hit to begin the game when the Red Sox scored 5. Holt also had an infield hit in the 13th. There's a shot to center field. Geyer angling to his right into left center, and a nice grab. Good route that time by Brandon Geyer. Straight line into left center.
Well, and that is of the utmost importance when a guy hits the ball as hard as Brock Holt did. This is a line drive headed for the gap. Geyer was shaded that way, got a good break on it, good route, and ran it down quite easily.
He staked out that 370 marker, ran right to it, and before he got to the track, made the catch. That's how this one starts, and here's Xander Bogaerts. First pitch is a strike. Slider. This is Odorizzi's second career start against Boston. 1-1. Joe Madden. Joe's after his 700th career victory as a manager today. 699 and 648. 9th year as the Rays skipper. Feeling a little better about things here after this recent stretch by the Rays. That win over Oakland, the first 2 over the Red Sox. So they're 3-2 on the homestand. Well, they would love to win this one, sweep it, hit the road off a 4-2 homestand. That's their goal as we start this one. And as far as Joe Madden is concerned, he doesn't care how long it takes. Longer the better. Swing and a miss, and Bogaerts is out on strikes. 2 up, 2 down.
Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay defense as it lines up this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, DeJesus, Geyer, and Myers. Across the infield third to first, Longoria, Escobar, Forsythe, and Loney. Jose Molina will be behind the plate.
So the bases are empty. Odorizzi faces Dustin Pedroia, and that's a strike. Pedroia now at 269, a couple of home runs, 14 runs batted in, a clean shaven Dustin Pedroia.
And I'll bet you it has a whole lot more to do with the Red Sox than it does with Dustin Pedroia. This is a team that's dropped 9 in a row, trying to change something up here. You very rarely see him with that look.
Chopper out to Forsythe at second, and it's a 1-2-3 first. Rays coming in to hit in their half of the frame. We have no score. Joe Maddon's lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. David DeJesus leads it off. Then Evan Longoria and Matt Joyce. Will Myers, James Loney, and Brandon Guyer down the middle. Logan Forsythe, Yunel Escobar, and Jose Molina completing the Rays lineup.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Boston Red Sox, right-hander Brandon Workman. And he started the season out of the Boston bullpen, had 3 appearances out of that, went down to Pawtucket to get stretched out as a starter, had 7 starts down there, went 3-1 with a 5.12, and now rejoins the Red Sox, rejoins the rotation in place of the injured Felix Dubron.
Dubron, some shoulder fatigue. So it's Workman against DeJesus. Upstairs to David. Workman with the Red Sox last year for 20 games, 3 of those starts. Long drive up the right field line. Is it going to be fair? That's a foul ball. Well, DeJesus tried to angle it from his perspective to keep it fair, but it's a foul ball.
Boy, that pitch running, they wanted that away. It ran middle in. David DeJesus quick with the hands, just a hair too quick.
The pitch outside, 2-1.
Workman primarily features fastball. He'll cut it, a curveball.
Right-hander, 6'5", out of Arlington, Texas, the University of Texas. 2-2 now here on DeJesus.
He's had some appearances against the Rays. Started against them last July, went 6 innings in that game, gave up 2 earned runs.
Out DeJesus.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Boston defense as it lines up this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, Grady Sizemore, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Daniel Nava. Across the infield, third to first, Brock Holt, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and Mike Karp, A.J. Pierzynski behind the plate.
strikeout on that fastball that registered around 93. First pitch strike to Evan Longoria. Workman, a second-round pick by Boston in the 2010 June draft. Quickly ahead. Fastball and a breaking ball. 0-2.
That's the curveball by Workman that he uses to just change speeds, try to get you off the fastball and the cutter.
And back with the curveball and a cut to miss. 2 up, 2 down.
Boy, classic case of the rolling curveball to get the called strike, and then he really jumps on this one to take it in and out of the zone. And he gets the chase by Longoria, put it in a very good spot.
Two up, 2 down for Matt Joyce. At 274 for the year. Still well over 300 at home. He loves to hit here. 342 in the Trop this year.
Too close to home. He loves to play at home.
Yep. I don't know the count on him.
Yeah, we've seen Matt Joyce go more to left field with some base hits. He'll lay down the occasional bunt, and you see now as the count changes, Xander Bogaerts has moved over, but he originally was playing Matt Joyce over here a little bit more tempered with the shift, a little bit more aggressive now.
Matt has as many hits right now the other way as he had the entire season last year. He's at 11.
There you go. To left field, he's got 8 of them. You see, and the reason that you see Bogaerts move over there as the count went to 2-0, because in a 2-0 count, you got to figure Matt Joyce a whole lot more prone to pull then, because he's looking to turn and burn on something out over the plate. In those even counts, Bogaerts a little bit shading back towards shortstop, because then you're not quite sure. Maybe he will shoot the ball to left field, but when the count's in his favor, he's looking to do damage. I mean, even the shifts are only shifts for a time. They will move on counts.
Now the count is full. Will Myers on deck. Chopper over the mound. And right there's Bogaerts, the shortstop, on the first base side of second, handling that ground ball. We're headed into inning 2, no score. Red Sox. Kids, if you're looking for something fun to do this summer, play where the Rays play. At the Rays Summer Baseball Camp, you can create your own memories by hitting at home plate, just like Evan Longoria, or pitching from the mound like David Price. To register, go to RaysBaseball.com/camps. On to the second inning from the Trop. We go to Rizzi, recorded a 1-2-3 first, and David Ortiz will open the second, hitting against the Rays defensive shift. The pitch is a strike. The Rays get serious with the shift with Ortiz up there.
So you're going to put Logan Forsythe in the middle of nowhere.
That's strike two.
You can do that for a couple of reasons. First of all, David Ortiz apt to hit a line drive to right field that Forsythe can make a play on. He hits the ball hard. Being deeper like that allows Forsythe more range, and because David Ortiz doesn't run that well, you can do that.
1-2. Well, we saw that with Sean Rodriguez out there at second base earlier in this series. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
It just looks goofy. I mean, this is what baseball has come to, and for good reason.
Yeah, and you know, Derek Shelton was talking about that the other day with the offense and the downturn in offense, how much more difficult it is to hit now, and the shift is so much more evident than ever before, and that's one of the reasons. And it's a difficult environment to put good offensive numbers together, and that's seemingly across the board. I mean, we have two teams here, the Rays and the Red Sox, so far this year. It's been a challenge. And we've seen not only the Rays employ the shift, but almost everybody the Rays play has some version of the shift defensively now.
There are teams that use it more than the Rays, and they're about as aggressive as anybody is with it. So it's the wave of, well, I want to say the future. It's right now, and it's what's been taking over baseball. But I will tell you that offenses aren't going to sit idly by. They are devising ways to beat the shift, to teach hitting maybe in a different way, to try to take the shift away as you start to come up. I think that's
ground
what you're
ball
going to see.
Right to Forsythe in shallow right. The shift pays off. Forsythe, the second baseman from short right field, throws out David Ortiz, just making the point right there.
Well, there's Logan Forsythe right there. This ground ball by David Ortiz. You're going to see right there, that's probably a ground ball that's between first and second. If you're playing traditional, you know, some of these, the shift, you know, they take away, but it would be a ground ball to the second baseman anyway. That one would have been in the hole. That would have been a base hit if you're playing them straight up.
There's Mike Carp lifting a fly ball to center. Geyer there. So Carp, after the first pitch, is out number 2. Geyer and Myers making sure their lines of communication open. Geyer said, if the ball's hit where I caught it, I'll catch it. Will said, okay. And back they go to their respective positions.
Keep it simple.
Here's Daniel Nava. Nava back up from the minor leagues. The pitch is a strike.
You know, that really is important, though, at the end of the day, outfield communication, especially when it's usually Jennings and Myers working together out there. You got a Brandon Guy who's logged some time out in center field, but not nearly as much as Desmond. So you got to make sure that these guys have their code word, their buzzwords as they're on the move, because that's the thing. You can't take your eye off the ball here at Tropicana Field and look to see where the other guy is. You just have to know that you take control verbally, you're going to make the catch.
Strike 3 call. Boy, 3 great pitches to Nava by Odorizzi. 1, 2, 3. Go the Red Sox. We're through an inning and a half. We have no score.
Of a scoreless game just activated to the Boston Red Sox roster today. And the corresponding move, initially they thought it might be Alex Wilson out of the bullpen who would go down. But with the bullpen being taxed in that 15-inning game yesterday, the Red Sox adjusted course. And Mike Napoli, who's been bothered by that sprained left ring finger, also had flu-like symptoms earlier in the week and has been battling a bit of a hamstring as well. They want him to get beyond that injury. So John Farrell said he probably wasn't available for the next few days, and maybe this extended stay, 2 weeks plus a day at least on the DL, will get him beyond the finger issue. But guys, it was a tough call, obviously losing a guy like Napoli who goes on the DL today.
Yeah, Napoli was taping that finger before every at bat.
And you knew that something like this may happen because you didn't see him in last night's game where Boston was starving for, forget offense, for a hard hit ball. I know, Dwayne, you and I sat up here during the course of that game, especially when it got into the teens, and said, name one. Remember one hard hit ball that the Red Sox had after the first inning. Both of the hits, one was a bloop to right, one was a bloop over the head of Cesar Ramos.
Yep.
You had the hard fly ball, the deep fly ball to center field.
I think that was it.
By Brock Holt off Grant Balfour. That was the only hard hit ball that you can remember after the first inning. That's 14 innings of weak contact.
Yep, that fly ball came in the 10th inning. It was the last out of the inning.
Yep.
That was about it.
I really, nothing else comes to mind.
1-2, and Myers offs a high pop fly headed towards center. That's Bradley Jr. in front of Nava making the catch. Well, the Red Sox have lost 10 of their last 11 and 9 in a row. The starting pitching bullpen numbers have been outstanding. Starting pitching, another story, and offense, 2.3 runs a game.
That right there. Combine the offense with the starters. That it means you're in an immediate hole. So the bullpen can throw as well as it wants to. At that point, it's too little too late. And that's what's happening. See you tomorrow.
James Loney lifting it into left. Sizemore going back. 2 quick outs against Workman in the bottom of the second inning. Brandon Geyer's on his way to the plate. Geyer coming off 4 hits in the extra inning game last night. First 3 times up, he had a single and 2 doubles, had scored 2 runs, and had driven in 2 by the 5th.
It's really fun to see Brandon Geyer getting more and more comfortable. You're getting more playing time, more regular playing time, and you can see it in just the way that he carries himself.
He seems much more relaxed.
Yes.
You see a little smile from him once in a while, and the There's nothing like a few hits and a little playing time to help that along.
That's the one thing that you got to remember with a young guy in the role that he's in right now with the Rays. He got to the big leagues because he was proving himself every single day in the minor leagues.
Yep.
And so then you get to the big leagues and you're asked to do something that you've probably never done. When has he been a role player? Little League? I doubt it. I mean, he's always played all the time. Not as easy to just, get a start or two a week. It's a very difficult way to play.
Yeah, it's ironic that a young player comes up who's played everywhere, every inning his whole life, and then is asked to do maybe the most difficult job of all.
Yeah.
And that's play once a week, once every 10 days. You get 2 at-bats a week, really?
Yeah, and because usually that's a role that's filled by a veteran who has had his time starting, career starting to wind down, or he's been a utility guy that's you're just kind of bounce out. They get used to it. Now that's their role. Yeah, it's very rarely a guy who's like, listen, I'm penciled into the lineup every day, all the time. So tough to get acclimated to, but we've seen Brandon Guyer really start to blossom here recently.
So he draws the walk, becoming the first base runner of this game. And here's Logan Forsythe. Speaking of blossoming, big part of last night's effort. There goes Guyer. And the throw down, safe the call. Guyer breaking on the first pitch, has a steal. Rays not wasting any time.
You didn't even have time to get to the numbers, but Brandon Workman in his big league career, it spans, now 49 2/3 innings. Opposing base stealers have been 11 out of 13. Now make that 12 out of 14 as Brandon Guyer gets in there. Clearly safe.
One strike to count on Forsythe.
This will be one of those games where if you are a guy who has the potential to steal a base, Brandon Workman's on the mound, you may be asked to go. Trying to create some offense, continue this recent winning streak.
So the Rays have a man in scoring position. Forsythe had 3 hits last night. Drove in a couple runs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he's another guy. We touched on it last night. He's been stoic through this tough start Forsythe has had with the club, and now coming off a successful evening last night, he'll feel a little bit better about things.
Especially with the day game. You don't really have time. You just roll out. It's just an extension of last night. Get here ready to play.
So the tap foul holds the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think more than anything, especially when you come to a new team, you have a game like that and it just allows you to exhale. Just, okay. Yeah, now you feel like you're part of it. You feel like you're contributing. Words hard to describe what that does for the mental well-being of a player.
That fielded by Pedroia. Boy, that ball came up on Pedroia, found himself back on it, had to battle it, got the throw there in time. So the Rays will leave a man. See that big hop there. No score through 2.
Qatar. I just wanted to give my family a shout out, tell you guys that I love you, I miss you, and I can't wait to come home. I also wanted to wish the Tampa Bay Rays good luck on their 2014 season and let you know we're rooting for you all around the world.
Well, you can't beat that. Thanks for her service and her support of Rays baseball, and thanks to all of the men and women, past and present, for what they've done.
And she was very comfortable in front of the camera.
She was.
She was well done.
Natural.
Yeah.
We go to the third. A.J. Pierzynski leading off, a ball, no strikes. Sizemore next, and then Bradley. One count. It's out of play. Jay go to Rizzi. Rays right-hander. Last time out against Oakland, 8 strikeouts, a high pitch count, 113 pitches, limited him to 4 2/3. It's 2-2 right now with Pierzynski. A couple of quick innings here, 15 in the first and 11 in the second.
Well, I think Jake, in searching for his identity as a starting pitcher in the big leagues, has found something that works, and that is huge for a pitcher. He's got a formula in mind. The mixing of the pitches, I think a little bit less of the changeup, more of the slow curve has really helped him out.
Ball shot the other way into left field, and Pierzynski is aboard. Veteran catcher. But he's been a lot more comfortable out there with his approach and a lot more confident.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you see the elevated fastball. That's been a pitch that's been playing very well for him. And that plays off that curveball. That curveball and four-seam fastball up in the zone combination. You can use one pitch to set up the other. It doesn't matter. And then the occasional changeup. He'll cut just a little bit, a slider. He's got some other things to sprinkle in along the way. You can just tell in his mound demeanor, mound presence, that he's feeling better about the job he's doing.
Faces Grady Sizemore. Pierzynski at first. Fine shot. That ball fair, headed toward the corner. Myers will have to follow it in. Pierzynski's going to stop at third. It's a double for Sizemore. And the Red Sox have a threat underway in the third.
That was a changeup there to Grady Sizemore. It was 87 miles an hour, something off speed. And that's always dangerous first time through a lineup. A guy that hasn't seen you very much, almost looks like a BP fastball. And Sizemore's able to take advantage, jump on it, and get it down into the corner.
And the Rays fortunate that it was the catcher Pierzynski running, because once that ball got by Myers, an average to above average runners thinking about scoring from first on that. Now here's Bradley Jr. First pitch is a strike. Double for Sizemore, his 7th of the year. Rizzi quickly ahead of Bradley. One and two. Fastball away.
They used to tell us, coming up and learning how to pitch at the higher levels, the big league level, the reason that the changeup is such an effective pitch is because it's a changeup.
Yep.
It's off of something else. So if there's a hitter up there that you don't have a whole lot of, there's a good one there. Pick up the strikeout on Bradley Jr.
And that followed the fastball.
Right. And so that changeup plays off of the fastball. When you haven't faced a guy many times, if at all, and you start him with the changeup, he's got no reference point to go off of. And if it stays out over the plate like it did to Sizemore, it just looks like a nothing BP kind of fastball. Like, well, here it is, hit me. And that's why he was all over that pitch.
Yeah, and if you have a hitter who's been struggling anyway, you're probably doing him a favor by throwing that pitch on the first pitch.
Grady Sizemore in this series has shown a slider speed bat, and that was slider speed at 87. Now you come back around here to Brock Holt, who's already seen you. Really good changeup to Bradley. Nice one to Holt. Jump out in front.
Yeah, and right there proves the point. Holt's already seen him. He's seen the fastball. Now first pitch. Oh, I'm way out in front.
That's right. That's right.
1 strike count. Ball game in the top of the third. Well, that second and third time through have been a challenge in the past for Odorizzi. Starting to get a little better.
Yeah. I think you can almost not completely disregard these as still a reference point, but the way that he's throwing now, you'll continue to see those numbers get better.
Just missed there. Tried the fastball, and it was just off the corner.
I think the most encouraging thing about that through the lineup is the first time through. He does such a good job. That means he's got a good game plan and he's able to execute it. The quicker that he makes adjustments, those numbers will come way more in line with that first time through, and that's what's encouraging.
Pitch in on Holt, and he fouls it out of play. It's 2-2.
It also means that you're off to a quick start. Usually that's the first, maybe 2.5, 3 innings of a ball game. You're putting them up, in order, 3 scoreless, allowing your offense maybe to get something going to take an early lead.
Good young man. His day is made. Souvenir baseball. Full count to Holt. Second and third with 1 away. Pitch is pop foul. That's going to carry out of play. They came with a 3-2 changeup there after starting him with a swing and a miss changeup.
And that one stayed up in the zone. That's the one thing, Jake's throwing that new changeup. Really, it's a split. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but he's splitting those fingers around the baseball. And that is a pitch for him that has been somewhat inconsistent. You'll see some ones like the first pitch of this at bat that just dive out of the zone, and then others that just kind of flutter in there and stay up.
Good young bat on deck. Fly ball into right. Myers back to make the catch. The tag by Pierzynski. He will score, and Sizemore advances to third. Holt delivers a sacrifice fly, and that'll give Boston a 1-0 lead.
I'll tell you what, Holt is he's a scrappy little player.
Yes,
kind of like what you see out of that kid. Had some really good at-bats in this series where Boston hasn't had many. Hit the ball hard.
So he drives in the first run of this game with a sacrifice fly. Xander Bogaerts. Rizzi struck him out in the first. Off the plate. Slider that missed. One and one. Jersey to the plate. And he is Bogarts over and out in front of the changeup. Trying to limit the damage to just a run after the first two men reached here in the third. Fly ball into right. Myers is there for this one. One run, all the Red Sox get. They leave a man at third. 1-0 Boston, middle of the third. Up from the minor leagues, making his fourth appearance of the year for the Red Sox, his first start. Escobar will be the first man to face him, followed by the Rays catcher Jose Molina, and the top of the order, and David DeJesus due up. Escobar 254 for the year, a little over 300 for the month of May. That after a slow start in April. Workman throws him a strike, fastball around the knees. One and one to count. Rays wrapping up the series and the homestand. Fly ball, center field. Bradley takes care of it. So one away. Rays will be headed on the road to Toronto. Right now, starting play today, the Blue Jays up by 2 games on New York, 2.5 in front of Baltimore. The Rays 6 back, and Boston 7 off the pace. Jose Molina. Base is empty and 1 out. Strike. 3 night games in Toronto against the Blue Jays, and Eric Bedard will start that series. Alex Cobb the middle game, and then Chris Archer the third game of that series. The Rays then move into Boston and eventually Miami. So 2 gone here. Third Third strikeout for Workman. Time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. One strike to count on David DeJesus. A couple of quick outs here in the third for Workman. 1-1 to count. Two balls and a strike. DeJesus into this game with an on-base percentage of .350, and he gives you good at-bats at the top of the order. Seen a lot of right-handed pitching. And that's been a good spot for him up there for the Rays.
Yeah, because of that on-base percentage, because of that ability to work in at bat. You think if he lead off a game and see 6, 7, 8 pitches, see 2 or 3 different varieties, that helps everybody in the dugout on the bench to get to see what the pitcher is featuring that day.
Well, here's a case where even for your pitcher, it's early, but 2 quick outs. And here comes DeJesus up there to work the count. He'll step out a little bit. Now there you go. Prepared with a glove.
And the sleeve.
And a souvenir.
Got everything.
This is how you do it. Curveball high. Full count. Ground ball back at first. Glove there by Karp. And a race to the bag. Workman takes the toss. We're going to head into the fourth from the Trop. 1-0 Boston.
All the troops out there, men and women, happy Memorial Day. I just have to go briefly. I always think about my pop and my uncles who fought during World War II. Uncle Chuck actually was involved in the Korean War. Also, I've lost some friends in Vietnam, so very much aware of all this. I was never involved in military service, and for that's one part of my life I wish I could have done over. But I get it, I understand it, and I want you to know that we appreciate every one of you.
Rays paying tribute to Memorial Day and the men and women of our military here today at the Trop. Moving into the 4th inning. Here you go to Rizzi on the hill. He's thrown a strike to Dustin Pedroia. 2-strike count now with the foul ball. I mentioned the Rays are headed to Toronto. The Blue Jays have taken a 1-0 lead. They're hitting in the bottom of the 4th against Oakland now, 1-0. Edwin Encarnacion hit another home run. That's his 14th. He's hit 12 this month. On deck, David Ortiz, and then Mike Karp is due up. Outside, took the fastball away from him. Ground ball, that's going to go through the hole. In the left it goes. Pedroia placed that one perfectly.
Now that was a ball down in the zone, and Pedroia just smothers it over to the left side, and you're right, splitting Escobar and Longoria. Here's the delivery down and in, and he just gets over the top of it and finds an opening.
That's David Ortiz. Ortiz grounded out into the shift when he hit a ball into shallow right in the 2nd inning, and Logan Forsythe, who was set up out there, threw him out. Rays have Longoria on the first base side of second now, and Forsythe squarely in the hole between first and second.
Yeah, you can see obviously a little bit more muted. Got to have an opportunity to turn 2.
2 balls, no strikes. And him out in front. Nicely done there.
Well, David Ortiz is thinking one thing. Odorizzi thinking something else. 2-0 changeup. And that just allows you that little seed of doubt that you plant in Ortiz's mind. Will he come back? 2-1 changeup. Will now be the 2-1 heater. Will he drop the slow curve? Just that one pitch can have that effect.
Goes away with a fastball and misses, so it's 3-1.
And just as quickly it'll go away.
That's what the count does to you.
Yep. It just limits what you can do. Most pitchers, you know, the few that can throw all 3 or all 4 of their pitches for strikes at any time, maybe it doesn't have as big of an effect on them.
But that's the difference. That's what makes those guys elite pitchers.
Yes, because if not, then you're a 4-pitch pitcher in a 3-1 count will become a 1 or 2-pitch pitcher. You start to eliminate pitches as a hitter, and the pitcher becomes more predictable.
High fly ball deep into center. Geyer to the track for it. He'll make the catch. Tag at first. Pedroia starts to go and heads back to the bag. Long fly ball by Ortiz, and Geyer got back there to grab it.
Well, just too much height. David Ortiz had a good swing at that delivery from Odorizzi, but he just got under it a little bit too much, hit the ball too high into the big part of the field. So that ball's going to stay in. Now the question is, can Geyer get it in quick enough to keep Pedroia at first? And he gets rid of it, air mails it in there, and that's exactly what happens. Ortiz knows that he had an opportunity. Feels like he just missed it.
Here's the first baseman, Mike Karp. Outside. Karp went after the first pitch in the second inning and hit a fly ball to center. One and one. Odorizzi out there for the 10th time this year. Karp takes a big cut, fouls the changeup. Odorizzi's presence much different. You know, we go back to that first game of the year he started, when he went out there as if he owned the mound. That was really impressive to see. Then he went through a little slide where he wasn't quite as sure that he owned that mound.
Yeah.
And now he started to reclaim it. Runner starts to go on a little tapper. That's going to be a foul ball.
I tell you, if Dustin Pedroia had not checked himself, he could have walked into second base with the jump that he got. I think that he took off so early, he figured Odorizzi had to see me, and so I better stop right now. Watch this.
He outthought himself.
Yeah, and by the way, Jake had not even started to head towards home plate.
He said, this can't be true.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Too good to be true.
Well, Odorizzi might be laying some ownership claim to the mound, but he also needs to keep an eye on the rest of the infield as well. It's fouled back. His demeanor, though, is so much different, and that comes from confidence and the idea that he has enough weapons out there that he can work his way through these major league lineups.
Dwayne, are you saying that now that he's secured the home front, he needs to have a better foreign policy?
Well, he needs to just keep an eye out there and maybe send a little toss to first once in a while.
You never know where the threats are going to come from.
That's right.
There you go.
Just keep an eye on him over there. It's the best kind of foreign policy. Just keep an eye on him. Trust but verify. 4 caught stealings with Odorizzi on the hill.
Maybe that's why he's quit looking.
A ball, 2 strike count on Mike Karp. Two balls, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes the count. Fouled back. So for Karp, this is the complete opposite of his first at bat when he was out on 1 pitch. He'll be looking at his 8th pitch of this at bat coming up.
It was a succession of at bats like this that ended Odorizzi's last start. 4 2/3, 113 pitches. Had 5 walks, had 8 strikeouts. Those take a lot.
And he's gone to 3-2 here with Carp. Now, you don't want to see a scenario like that again. And a 14th pitch at bat against Derek Norris in the 4th inning of that outing against Oakland. And now ball 4. That will push Pedroia up to second. 2 men on with 1 out. Odorizzi's going to get a visit from Jim Hickey. We'll remind you to get in on the action with exclusive on-field seating in the Papa John's bullpen box. Only a few dates remain, so act now to make your group reservation right behind the Rays bullpen by calling 888-FAN-RAYS or checking out online at raysbaseball.com. So talk on the mound. Daniel Nava is going to be the hitter. We mentioned earlier Odorizzi made 1 start against the Red Sox, and that was part of a doubleheader in June of last year at Fenway. Had a no decision in that one. The Rays lost that game 3-1. He pitched 5 2/3 and gave up 1 run. That came on a home run by Daniel Nava, who's about to step in right here. Worked Nava efficiently in the 2nd inning, got him on 3 pitches. And I'm looking at a pitch on the outside part of the plate. Now Carp's at first. Pedroia's on second. The slow curve, and we haven't seen many of those. That first pitch too high.
Actually, yeah, today has been more of that changeup has been more prominent in the mix. You know, the Rays will do that. You know, we talk a lot about that curveball, fastball, and I think that's a combination that will play against any lineup. But the Rays get awfully lineup specific with their game plans.
The slow curve again, back to back. And Nava has taken both of them. 2-0 the count.
That's been such a good weapon for Jake. You just don't want him to lose sight of it. It's a good pitch by itself. It's a better pitch when you team it up with that fastball that you can elevate.
There's a strike. 2-1. Second pitch looked better than the third pitch. The 2-1. Looked it up the left side, headed for foul territory, and going to be out of the reach of Longoria and DeJesus over there.
Daniel Nava aggressive there. 2-1, may have gone out of the strike zone. That's a borderline pitch, and as a hitter, you're ahead in the count. You do not want to be going after borderline pitches. That's allowed Jake Odorizzi right back into the count at 2-2. And that opens up the entire arsenal.
Runners at first and second. 1 away, and the 2-2 count on Nava. Red Sox got a run on a sacrifice fly in the 3rd after they put the leadoff man on. Pedroia opened this inning with a base hit. He's at second. Carp walked with 1 out. He's at first. Nava and Odorizzi having a little difficulty getting together, and Molina Going to trot to the mound to see if they can get on the same page. So they talk it over. And our Toyota trend, the Rays have overtaken the Dodgers in longest average game time at 3 hours and 27 minutes. And the Rays here is at 13 consecutive home games in which they've gone at least 3 hours. They're 3+ in 13 consecutive games here at the Trop. And they've catapulted ahead of the Dodgers.
You could go back over the last week and a half. You had a 2-0 game in Seattle where there were 5 combined hits that took 321. You had a 3-0 game in Anaheim, 9-inning game, that was 331. And then the 1-0 game the other night here, 1-0 game, and it was 325. That's the Rays way. Joe would have it no other way. I love it. I say let's go for 4. We're already at 322. Let's push it. 327.
Yep,
we can do it.
It's a little soft liner on a jam shot, and it's caught by Forsythe. So Nava is the second out. Went to 2-2, and Odorizzi gets him for the second out. Two men on, 2 men out. A.J. Pierzynski. Pierzynski homered in the first inning of last night's game to cap a 5-run first for Boston. He singled to lead off the third and to score the only run of this game, which is too low. Fouled back. 1-1 to count. Odorizzi and Pierzynski squaring off for the first time here in this game, and Pierzynski got the base hit the first time up. Curveball again, the slow curve. Up around 70, but high. It's 2 balls and a strike. Foul the fastball back over the screen. 2-2.
Well, 2 very good pitches located out of the outer part of the plate, maybe even a little bit off, getting the chases from Pierzynski, and now make one more pitch and get out of this inning. We get a lot of happy fans today.
Yeah, look
just
at
a lot of happiness
souvenirs
all around. Soaking in it in the booth.
Feels really good.
Feels like the Lego movie. Everything is awesome.
Yep. Awesome.
All the time.
Odorizzi trying to get that feeling by retiring Pierzynski. 2-2. Pierzynski fouls this one. Well, they've started to run the pitch count up here in the last couple innings. He's made 30 pitches. 78 for the game. A couple of low pitch counts the first 2 innings, and then 22 in the third and 30 here in the fourth. That is caught by Forsythe. Nice grab there by the Rays second baseman. Pitch got in on Przinsky, and he hit the soft liner. The diving catch by Forsythe, and the Red Sox leave 2 men on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 1-0 Boston.
For the 4th inning, the Tampa Jesuit Tigers are the Class 5A baseball champions for 2014. They are sitting here in sections 214 and 216 on or before the game. Guys, a great story. Jesuit, always a strong baseball program, had 9 of their players suspended for the season. So they called up 7 kids from JV, only 4 seniors, yet their coach, Richie Warren, never let them lose sight of the prize, which was to win the state crown. Sure enough, on Thursday, they wrap up the state championship. On the mound was Casey Radke, the son of former Major Leaguer Brad Radke. Behind the plate was Ryan McCullers, son of former Major Leaguer Lance McCullers. And congratulations, Tampa Jesuit, the Tigers, the Class 5A state champs, guys.
All right, they were honored here before the game. Here's Longoria driving one deep to right field. That's got Carey out of here. Home run for Evan Longoria. Evan Longoria showing some of that power to right center field, and this game is tied.
Well, he gets good extension here on a ball that's away from him. It's got elevation, and he smokes this thing. I'll tell you, it's like baby steps with Evan Longoria. We've seen the strokes start to come around, getting some base hits, building some confidence, and then all of a sudden, you knew it was a matter of time before he unloaded, and there you go, tie the game.
Evans' 5th home run of the year, first hit for the Rays in this game, and now Matt Joyce, the DH, takes the big cut and misses. That's a strike. Well, you're right about that. It was a matter of time, and Evan has not really been happy all year with the way he's swung the bat. He hasn't driven the ball the way he'd like, hasn't hit it as hard consistently. But boy, a nice shot to right center field right there.
Well, he's been putting a lot of work in. A lot of work in and trying to get back to where he would like to be, where the team would like him to be.
That's where they'd like him to be, right there.
I actually saw him coming out of the cage today, heading into the clubhouse, and it looked like he wanted to chew on some nails. I mean, he just had that look, that, that look of determination, that look of it's time to get this thing going.
And you almost feel better about him hitting a home run to right center than you do if he'd hit a long one to left.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Power to right center. Not a lot of guys have it, but that shows you he's seeing the ball well, trusting his swing in his hands. And not trying to, that's a ball that was elevated, but it was away from him. You try to pull that, and it's going to be, soft fly left, maybe a roll over ground ball, but he goes with it and is able to drive it.
Now the count is full to Joyce. Larry Vanover, the crew chief, confirming that he did not offer. Joyce lofts it to the opposite side, foul, out of play. So the Rays get a run to tie in the fourth. The leadoff home run by Evan Longoria. Blue Jays batting in the bottom of the fifth, leading Oakland 1-0. Blue Jays have won 5 in a row. Rays have won 3 straight. Joyce fouls a fastball back. A pretty good cut, 3-2 on that one.
Yep, and able to get full extension too, which is what Matt Joyce wants to do. He wants to get his arms extended.
Takes it to left field. Sizemore backing up in front of the track, and as he makes the catch, a step or so back onto the warning track.
Right fielder Will Myers.
That's the first out of the inning. Indians and the Orioles playing in Baltimore. They're in the bottom of the fourth inning, and they're tied 2-2. Inside to Myers. Trevor Bauer on the mound for Cleveland. Miguel Gonzalez for Baltimore. The Yankees and the White Sox again in Chicago. Yankees have put up 4 in the second in that game. They're in the bottom of the second now. The White Sox hitting. Masahiro Tanaka pitching for New York. Andre Rienzo on the mound for the White Sox. And there's ball 3 outside. In today's game and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Longoria leading off the inning with a homer. And Myers swinging 3-0 on the fastball, pulls it foul, out of play. A strike, and now it's back full.
Right across the kneecaps, if anything. That ball was outside of Pierzynski's body. Mislocation by Workman. Wants it middle away. It's middle in. Right at the knees.
And ball 4. So after falling behind and then coming back full, Workman walks Myers. Runner at first with 1 out for James Loney. Loney did a fly ball to left his first time up. Rays getting their first look at Workman this year. They last faced him in Game 3 of the division series. He pitched 2/3 of an inning in relief. Scoreless. There goes Myers. The pitch lined into center. Bradley right there for it. And back to first goes Will Myers. Now the Rays had Myers on the move, and Loney lines out.
Now you get an opportunity, you can run a little bit, you can swipe a bag, you can be part of a hit and run. The Rays are going to put you in motion today against Workman, and that's what you're going right there. A good Batman at the plate in Loney. Will Myers, who we know can run, he gets up the first baseline on ground balls as well as anybody, first to third as well as anybody.
Here's Brandon Guyer. He walked with 2 outs in the second inning, and the Rays sent him. He picked up his first stolen base. There goes Will. The pitch, a base hit into right. Myers on his way to third. Nava returns the ball to second. So the Rays start Myers again, and Geyer hits it through the right side.
Boy, that was absolute textbook. Myers off and running. Watch Geyer swing. Let that ball get into the zone and then unload on it. You got the entire right side open with Pedroia covering. Boy, that is well done by the Rays.
So Myers goes to third. Well executed by Geyer. Well, he's had a nice run here. Brandon Geyer. 2-out threat following a leadoff home run from Evan Longoria. And here's Logan Forsythe. Oh, and outside. Forsythe out second to first in the second inning. Rays have a run on 2 hits. They've drawn a couple walks. Red Sox a run on 3 hits with 1 walk. Ground ball, that's headed into left through the hole on the left side. Myers scores and the Rays lead 2-1. Logan Forsythe comes through to give the Rays the lead.
Well, 2-out action got Myers over to third on the hit and run. And then Logan Forsythe just finds an open hole there on the left side. Able to get it by Bogarts into left field. Rays take the lead. Nice job of some 2-out execution by Rays hitters.
So here the second time through, the Rays putting together a bit of an inning to take a 2-1 lead. The Red Sox talk it over on the mound. Longoria got it started. Chance for more with 2 outs. Yunel Escobar stepping in. Rays shortstop takes the pitch outside. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. And the Red Sox not all that anxious to throw Escobar a strike. Jose Molina, who has struggled mightily this year at the plate, is on deck. And so the Red Sox well aware of that. Escobar pops it into shallow right. Pedroia is out for the call and the catch. So the Rays send 7 men to the plate. They score 2. Longoria's home run got him started. And at the end of 4, it's 2-1 Tampa Bay. Fifth inning, and today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Rays with a 3-game winning streak, 3 walk-offs, and in fact since 2008 they topped the list in walk-offs, 61, one more than the Cincinnati Reds.
This building has always had that magical feel where if the Rays could stay close late, that they would find a way somehow, some way to come back and make a game of it, maybe walk it off like you said. So really no surprise there. The sheer number though jumps out at you, 61 times. Those are some happy nights or early mornings.
Yep, a little of each right there in those 61 walk-offs. Grady Sizemore takes the first pitch on the inside part of the plate for a strike. Sizemore doubled his first time on a first pitch changeup. Breaking ball, and that stayed a little wide. 1-1. Rays with the 3-game winning streak and those 3 walk-offs. First time in club history that the Rays have put 3 consecutive walk-offs together. Sizemore fouling the fastball. Sizemore came into the game hitting .211 with a couple of home runs and 13 runs batted in. And between Sizemore and Bradley, we just saw him. He's on deck. Fly ball short center. Geyer on the run. Can't get there in time. Keeps the ball in front of him. Sizemore hits for second and is in there with a double. Well, Sizemore drops a 2-base hit into center field. A great effort by Geyer, but he just could not get there in time.
Boy, frustrating for Jake Odorizzi. You get weak contact, and there's nothing you can do about this. Brandon Geyer gets a good jump on it, a good beat, running hard, dives, and just not able to come up with it. Oh, that close. That close.
So for the 3rd consecutive inning, the leadoff hitter is aboard for Boston. This time a double. And Jackie Bradley Jr. is the hitter. And strike one call. So Odorizzi, who retired the first 6 he faced, has found himself working the 3rd, 4th, and now here in the 5th inning from the stretch. Ground ball right side. Loney with the toss. Odorizzi covers. The ground ball to the right side advances Sizemore into 3rd. So with a man at 3rd representing the potential tying run, it will be the top of the order. The matchup is Odorizzi and Brock Holt.
Yeah, and Brock Holt, he's had a number of good at-bats during the course of this series, so this is going to be an interesting matchup here.
In fact, it was his sacrifice fly that got the Red Sox their 3rd inning run.
Yep, and he's hit a number of balls hard, a number of balls in the air. Irregardless of that, the Rays are going to bring the infield in, try to cut this run off at the plate if the ball's hit on the ground.
So they're all close. And Holt in the box. It's at the first pitch off speed, and that's in for a strike. 0-2. Brock came into the game hitting .320. Stairs started him with a couple of off-speed pitches and then the fastball up. Brock Holt spent some time in the Pirates system and now with Boston. And a cut and a miss. Boy, nicely done. Utilizing the changeup. Odorizzi had him out in front.
Well, the previous pitch, the fastball up, was never going to get a swing because it was a ball out of the hand. But what it successfully did was change the eye level of Brock Holt. Then you come right back with the changeup, middle of the plate down. That's exactly what you needed. Run around third, less than 2 outs. A tough at bat. And Odorizzi comes through with a big strikeout.
Yeah, that was a major league job right there by Odorizzi to get that out.
Boy, oh boy, that's some seasoned veteran pitching in a tough spot.
Now Bogaerts, pitch up and in to him. 1 ball, no strikes. Bogaerts has struck out, hit a fly ball to right his last time. This one hits him. Bogaerts hit by the pitch, which means Dustin Pedroia will get a chance to bat with men on first and third.
Well, the first one almost got him, and this one does. Look at that run up and in, gets him right in that left shoulder, left bicep area. Hit him right in the Red Sox.
And Jim Hickey talks it over on the mound. Flex your fandom with the all-new Rays Flex Packs. These 3, 6, or 9-game packs offer huge savings, great member-only rewards, and special promotions throughout the season. Select any games you'd like to attend. To purchase your Flex Pack, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rizzi touched for a run in the third. He left a man at third base. Had men at first and second in the 4th inning. Left them on, and now men at first and third in the 5th. A little over 90 pitches for Odorizzi now. 92 as Pedroia assumes his spot at the plate. There's a strike. Pitch on the outer part of the plate. Fastball misses away. 1-1.
Pedroia in his last at bat got a pitch down and in. It was meant to be down and away, and he rolled over the top of it, put it in the hole between short and third. Very aggressive on pitches up in the zone.
This pitch high as he lays off. It's 2-1. We have seen him chase pitches up out of the zone.
You see him take his aggressive swing right up at the letters. That tells you that's where he wants the ball, where a hitter takes his most aggressive swing. And so you put it in that area, but up just a little bit, you can have some success.
2-1. He fouls this one back, and again a fastball up.
And there's the swing. That's the prototypical Dustin Pedroia aggressive hack. That's where he wants it. He wants that ball up in the zone. If you're going to go up there, though, you'd better get it there. You had better get it just above that swing.
Two. Fouled back. Sizemore opened with a double. He's at third. Bogart's at first. Ortiz on deck. Rays scored 2 in the 4th to take a 2-1 lead. Red Sox back with a threat in the 5th. Ground ball to short. Escobar takes it to second for the force on Bogarts. Red Sox leave 2. Rays coming in to hit in the home half of the 5th, and they lead 2-1.
Really appreciate everything you've done for us and continue to do for us every day. Thank you, and your families also have made the sacrifice of missing you for extended periods of time. Thanks.
The Rays honoring the veterans, men and women of the military past and present. They wrap up this series against the Red Sox at the Trop. Jose Molina leads off the bottom of the 5th. That first pitch he takes inside, 1-0. Only 5-year-old right-hander Brandon Workman. Workman in the mid-60s in pitch count. 2 pitches into the 5th. And a strike on the outside part of the plate. A curveball. David DeJesus, who's playing left field today, is on deck, and then Evan Longoria. Did Molina go? The Red Sox think so, but Adrian Johnson says no. He held up.
Yes, he did. Another breaking ball by Workman. We've seen some good ones to the right-handed hitters down and away.
popped up. Carp into foul territory. So that's the first out in the 5th inning. Molino for 2. We'll go to the top of the order, and David DeJesus. DeJesus 0 for 2. Ball 1.
These Rays hitters now getting their 3rd look at Workman, and really it has just the curveball to try to get you off balance. Everything else, the fastball, the cutter, they're in the same general neighborhood.
That's a hot shot, fair. Past the diving Carp. Hits off the stands beyond the bullpen. DeJesus going to make it into second ahead of the throw. A 2-base hit for David DeJesus.
Now DeJesus takes advantage of one of those hard pitches right there. Here it is. He stays middle of the plate. He hammers it, gets it by the diving Carp. Not a chance. That's by him before he can complete the dive. Another runner out in scoring position. The Rays look to put a little room in between them and the Red Sox.
Well, that could be a good start in that direction. 10th double of the year for DeJesus, and here's Evan Longoria, who got the Rays on the board in the 4th inning with a leadoff home run. His 5th home run of the year. Curveball, he takes it for a ball. You know, the 2 hitters, just looking over the lineup, and Workman's pitch count's been in great shape, but the 2 hitters who've seen a lot of pitches today would be DeJesus and Joyce. David had seen 12 pitches in the first 2 at bats. Now a double. There's a strike to Evan. It's 1-1. And Matt Joyce, who is on deck, had seen 14 pitches. So those 2 combined, 26 of the 63 pitches he had made through 4 innings.
They're mid-40s, 40-some percent.
Two balls and a strike to count. Longoria fouls it out of play to the right side. 2-2.
Well, we've seen Evan do a really nice job at 2 strikes, being able to find holes up the middle the other way. Of course, his home run, his last at bat went the other way, right center field and deep.
Lines it into left for a base hit. DeJesus heads to third and stops. DeJesus had to wait for that one to clear the left side to go through. First and third now for the Rays.
Good memory by Evan Longoria. His first at bat, he struck out on a curveball swinging. Workman tries to come right back with it, but look at him follow it down and get it just before it gets to the dirt. Good recognition, adjustment with the swing, and this time finds a hole on the left side, not forgetting what Workman did against him to have success earlier in the game. That's why when we talk about pitchers having to get hitters out 2 and 3 times, sometimes 4 times a game, they remember those things. Gave up a home run on a pitch away, struck him out with a curveball.
Here's Matt Joyce. Takes ball one, down and in. So Matt now trying to cash in on all the pitches he's seen today. Put the ball to the warning track in left field in the fourth.
And this is where it really helps you out. You're in an RBI situation.
Covered up by Brzezinski. Off speed, they laid off. 2-0.
Yeah, hard change up there by Workman. Throws that in the 86 range.
They're trying to add to this 2-1 lead. There's ball three. That's Alex Wilson up in the bullpen. He has just started to throw. Three ball, no strike count on Matt Joyce. It's DeJesus, the runner at third. Longoria, the runner at first for the Rays. Three-1 to count on Joyce. And he takes ball four. 3-1 curveball. Workman was not going to go to the fastball there. And the bases are loaded.
So we referenced earlier about when you fall into those counts 2-0, 3-1, you become somewhat predictable because of the inability to throw your secondary stuff for consistent strikes. That one costs him a walk. That gets a visit from Juan Nieves, and the Rays have an opportunity here to talk about putting some distance between them and the Red Sox, already with a 1-run lead, and looking to add on.
Will Myers will be up with the bases loaded. Will 0 for 1. He worked the count full in the fourth inning and walked.
I'll tell you what, if the Rays could do something here and you know, put this game out of reach and beat this struggling Boston team, have them lost 10 in a row. You look at their schedule, the Red Sox schedule, they are 5 games into a stretch where they play 36 out of 37 days. I mean, there is no rest for this team. They just have to keep running guys back out there. They're already beat up. Big chance here.
So here's Will. And he takes a pitch too low.
Man, that pitch wasn't that bad. You know, bottom of the strike zone, but A.J. Brzezinski boxed it pretty good, and you're never going to get that call. Those borderline pitches, that's what the Rays catchers so good at, those borderline pitches like that, keeping them there, and maybe you do get the call.
Ground ball to third. Holt down to Pedroia. They will not get the double play, and the run scores. DeJesus crossing the plate to make it 3-1. And again, Myers with a combination of speed and effort beat the play at first. Joyce forced it second. Run batted in. The Rays are up by 2.
I know there was probably a collective oh no when this ball was hit, but with 2 bounces, no way you're getting Will Myers with 2 90-foot throws. This one from Holt, it's a long throw to first, and with the long strider hustling up the line, you're not going to get him.
You see Pedroia airborne around second base with the release of that throw, but Myers beat it in. Here's James Loney. So the Rays have a run home in the 5th. Loney takes the ball. and lined out in the 4th inning. Puts Loney ahead in the count, 2-0. Workman over 20 pitches in this inning now. He's got 2 in the 4th. They have 1 in the 5th. Myers backhanded first ahead of the tag by Carp. Fouled it back. Good cut at the fastball. Boy, in this situation, the Rays had loaded the bases. They get a run home. And you felt here the last couple hitters, the Rays, just one big hit away from breaking it open a bit.
Yeah. I mean, this Boston team, the struggle's well documented, but mentally hanging around in this game, the Rays are able to do something now in the second half of it to really put some runs in between them. You're right. You may have a team so demoralized that
Everybody clap your hands.
not able to recover today. Quick turnaround after a very disappointing loss last night. A loss in which they jumped out to a 5-run lead in the 1st inning. And the Rays chip away, have it tied up by the 5th, and then we get into a long, drawn-out game that you lose on a throwing error.
Well, a couple of pitches fouled out of play. The count is 2-2 on Loney. There's another foul ball. Showing how rare that was last night. Rays only the 2nd team in Major League history to win a game of 15 or more innings after being down by 5 or more at the end of the 1st inning. First team to do that, the Detroit Tigers, in August of 1918 against the Washington Senators.
Who does that research?
Isn't it amazing?
It is. It really is.
2-2 and a ground ball by the mound is short and safe at second base. The run scores. Bogart decided to make the play himself at second. Safe the call. Longoria across the plate, and John Farrell's out, and he wants to talk it over with Sherwater and figure out if they want to challenge this one.
Well, let's take a look. Hustle to the bag. Does he get there before? Looks like he's going to, and he does. They should challenge this one. I don't understand with Loney running why Bogarts just doesn't feel that. And as you see Will Myers bearing down on second base, make that throw to first and just take the out, get out of the inning. That was awfully close there, but it did look like Bogarts beat him.
Yeah, it appears that that will be the case. So it's under challenge. And you see the crew chief Larry Vanover and Stu Sherwater.
They just showed it on the Jumbotron, and Boston has left the field. They're not even waiting for the official word.
So there you go, and he is out at second base. So the Rays will settle for a run in the 5th inning. Almost had another one on this play, initially called safe, but it's been overturned, and the Rays lead 3-1. 3-1 lead. Boston picked up a run in the third on a sacrifice fly by Brock Holt. Rays got a leadoff home run in the fourth from Evan Longoria, his 5th home run of the year. Logan Forsythe's single homer run. Base hit into left, got Myers home. And then Myers got credit for the run batted in on a fielder's choice ground ball, scoring David DeJesus. So it's 3-1, and here we go to the 6th. David Ortiz leading off against the shift. Pitch is away. Odorizzi, 98 pitches through 5, and a 1-0 count here in the 6th. Fouled out of play. Ortiz, Carp, and Nava due up. Joel Peralta busy in the bullpen, with Odorizzi reaching the century mark in pitches. A good check on the appeal, says Larry Vanover. 2-1. Odorizzi behind Ortiz. Ortiz hit the ball to the track and center in the 4th. A ground ball into right field in the 2nd inning, but right to Forsythe in the shift. And Logan's out in that same spot right now. Fly ball center field. Geyer has a lot more room this time and makes the catch. First out in the 6th.
Yeah, those are the type of situations that you want David Ortiz to come up in. You've got a 2-run lead. He's up with nobody on base. You certainly don't want to tempt fate by walking him and all of a sudden letting Boston try to get something going. Good job by Odorizzi to come back and retire David before moving on to Carp.
Mike Carp is 0 for 1. And an extended at bat in the 4th inning when he drew a walk. It was a 9-pitch at bat for him. And there's that curveball in there for a strike. Every once in a while, keep that one in the back of the hitters' minds.
He did not go to that pitch early. 2nd time through the lineup is when he really started to break it out.
Follows it up with a fastball, 0-2.
Yeah, he's been pretty good tonight. Actually, better than pretty good. Really good with that arm side fastball. Getting it where he wants to. And when he's missed with it, he's missed off the plate. He hasn't missed over the plate.
And he strikes out Carp. Fastball again. Boy, nicely done.
Yeah, all these left-handed hitters is allowed to get him into a real good rhythm with that pitch away. And like I said, he's either been right on like he is right here, or when he's missed to areas that aren't going to hurt him.
So he has 5 strikeouts spread out in this lineup. He just smiled in David Price's face. Daniel Nava takes a pitch outside, 1-0. Nava caught looking on a pitch away in the 2nd. Ground ball first. Nice backhanded stop. Loney steps on the bag to retire the side. A 1-2-3 6th inning. A little fancy glove work there by Loney. And we'll go to the bottom half of the 6th inning with the Rays up 3-1. Let's go down to Kelly for today's Trade Winds social media report. Kelly?
Thank you so much, Dwayne. In the spirit of Memorial Day, reliever Jake McGee spent his Friday morning at the MacDill Air Force Base meeting with military families. He was available for autographs and photos, and he was all smiles, as you can see in this tweet by Rays Baseball. Happy Memorial Day weekend from Pepsi and Rays Baseball. And there you see Jake with a couple of children of military parents. And I asked him if he had a favorite moment, Dwayne NBA, and he said a mother brought him a large box to sign, and inside the box were baseball bases that she was going to lay around outside on the base for the kids to play ball outside.
Well, what a great gesture that is. Jake McGee spending time over at MacDill. Always really interesting time at MacDill Air Force Base. Geyer chops this one to the left side and is out number one here in the bottom of the sixth with Alex Wilson on the hill. He takes over for Workman.
Good numbers down at Pawtucket. AAA, 18 games, earned run average good, more than a strikeout an inning. The walks be a little bit concerning there, 12 and 19 innings. But opposing lineup's not doing a whole lot against him with the stick.
Logan Forsythe takes the pitch high, 1 ball, no strikes. Strike on the corner. Now 1-1. Forsythe with a base hit and a run batted in the fourth. Fly ball the other way to Nava in right. 2 up and 2 down. Good, Escobar to the plate against Wilson. 5 innings for Workman. 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Struck out 3, walked 3. Made 88 pitches, gave up a home run to Evan Longoria. Here's Escobar. Takes a fastball wide. Fastball from Wilson up around 94 there. Two and 0. Yankees added a run in the fourth in Chicago. The White Sox batting in the bottom of the fifth, down 5-0. Now 3-0 to Escobar. Orioles have taken a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the fifth in Baltimore over the Cleveland Indians.
And everybody else right now in the division winning. Yankees are up, Toronto's up, Baltimore's up.
And Escobar draws the walk, so he heads to first with 2 outs. You can send your favorite Rays players to the Twin Cities this summer to play in the Major League All-Star Game. Vote at Tropicana Field or simply log on to RaysBaseball.com to fill out your ballot. Vote Rays and vote often. Send your favorite Ray to the All-Star Game. We'll be in Minneapolis this summer. Rays 3 runs, 5 hits. Boston a run on 4 hits. Escobar over at first and is back in. Alex Wilson got Geyer on a ground ball to third. Forsythe lifted the fly ball to right before the walk to Escobar. Wilson in relief of Workman. Rays looking for a sweep today. They have 5 prior sweeps of the Red Sox, 3 or more games. Milligan 2. In that Baltimore Cleveland game in Baltimore, Machado and Cruz have hit home runs for the Orioles. 16th for Nelson Cruz. Manny Machado hitting his 2nd. Escobar takes off on the ground ball to second. So the inning is over. We're headed into the 7th. It's 3-1 Tampa Bay. Moving on to the 7th inning. Odorizzi, 6 innings of work, and well done today.
Yeah, 6 strong innings, and he just did a good job of being very good on the outer half of the plate against left-handed hitters. Made some big pitches when he needed to, when he got into a little bit of trouble, but there wasn't much of that overall. And Jake with another strong outing. That's now 4 in a row where Jake has reason to smile. He's in a comfort zone. He's got a lot of confidence, and it's showing up in his numbers and his lines.
Yeah, our line on the pitching performance presented by Volkswagen. 6 innings of 4-hit, 1-run baseball. He walked 1, struck out 5, and threw 108 pitches in the process. And now Joel Peralta comes on to work the 7th inning, making the 251st career relief appearance with the Rays, which surpasses Dan Wheeler by 1. So Peralta takes over that spot, and he will face A.J. Pierzynski to lead it off. Pierzynski, then Sizemore and Bradley. Pitch up and away. So 6-inning outing for Odorizzi, matching his high. He went 6 against Texas and 6 against Seattle. 2-0 the count. Curveball missed. And important for the Rays and any staff for that matter to get 6 innings from their starters, because it really gives the Rays an opportunity to set up their bullpen the way they like. Two and one.
And Peralta so often in that 8th inning in the middle of the lineup. Now here in the 7th at the bottom. But boy, when you get those starters like you're saying, You know, you just turn it over to that back end of the bullpen that's been really, really good lately.
Fly ball the other way. DeJesus full head of steam and to the bullpen mound. Be careful. Across the mound and to the low wall.
Now, you got to go over there and hustle, but you got to also navigate the mound. You see David's going to run right up and over top of that. But when you can do that, when you can get at least 6 out of your starter, we've seen the Rays record. It's like night and day.
Yep.
If they can get 6. You effectively shorten the game with how good the Rays are at the back end of the bullpen. Between McGee, Peralta, Oviedo, Balfour, Boxberger, even, you know, throwing some of those innings. I mean, you really have some guys that can lock down that back end, and you shorten the game.
Yeah, the Rays are 17-5 when they get 6 innings from their starters.
And I shudder to think what that record is when they don't.
Yeah, it's 5-23.
I just shuddered.
I just saw that. I was a little alarmed.
I look possessed.
You recover quickly.
Because my head didn't spin.
3-2 is foul, out of play. But you're absolutely right about that, because as deep as the bullpen can be for the Rays, it really puts them in a good spot with a lead going into the 7th.
Oh, I mean, really. Just too many options, too many quality options that they can turn to. And that's by design. Fill that bullpen with as many guys like that as you can, and that just means you shorten the game even further.
3-2, high chop, left side. Escobar tried to barehand it. The ball rolls into left center, and Przinsky heads into second base. Well, Escobar tried to barehand the ball, and when it skipped by him, that gave Przinsky the opportunity to take the extra base.
Yeah, boy, you never thought that A.J. Przinsky, this ball off the bat, you would have him at second base. Just a chopper. And Escobar coming in, and I don't even know if you had to barehand that with Przinsky running. But that's his decision, that's his choice, and once it gets by him there, you know you're in trouble because there's just nobody out there. Tough chance. Bad result.
Yeah, that's, for all practical purposes, an infield double. Wound up in the outfield, but the way it was played, it was an infield double.
By A.J. Przinsky.
Yeah, on top of it. Here's Grady Sizemore. Strike to him around the knees. Popper is going to be out of play. 2 strikes. So the Red Sox with a man in scoring position and nobody out in the 7th inning. One ball, 2 strikes the count. Sizemore out on strikes. Big strikeout there for Peralta after Brzezinski reached second to lead off the inning.
Boy, this recent run of good fortune by the Rays pitching staff, they've done a great job when they've gotten into trouble pitching their way out of it. You know, right there is a prime example. You get a leadoff double. Sizemore at the very minimum wants a productive at bat, move that runner to third with less than 2, but you get immediate strikeout. Runner still out there at second base. And this staff up and down. I mean, from the starters right through that bullpen, making really big pitches and really big spots. And that's what it takes.
Well, our big matchup, Johnny Gomes comes off the bench to pinch hit against Joel Peralta. And here's why. He's 5 for 12 with 3 home runs off Peralta. Gomes hitting for Bradley. It's a 3-1 ball game. First pitch picks up the corner, strike 1. Brzezinski's been on base twice. He's at second base right now. Ball, 1 strike. Red Sox have been on base in 3 of their last 4 innings. Peralta trying to pitch around Brzezinski's presence at second base, and he's ahead 1-2 in the count.
That may have been your one shot if you're Johnny Gomes. That fastball riding middle in. Big hack. Missed it. 1-2. Now Peralta can come at you with the breaking ball, the split.
Two to the pinch hitter Gomes. He swings and hits one deep to left. DeJesus watches it go, and a home run for Gomes off Peralta. Gomes does it again in the matchup against Peralta.
The previous pitch was a fastball. Johnny Gomes took a good rip at it and fouled it off. Just barely got a piece of it. That's why you're thinking something soft down in the zone. Comes back with another fastball.
Well, John Farrell played the matchup with the pinch hitter Gomes, and he gets what he was looking for, the long ball, and the game is tied at 3. Brock Holt. Pitch is a strike. A pinch hit home run by Gomes, the 8th pinch hit home run of his career. Now 1 strike to count. Looking at 2. Boston had gone 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position until the home run by Gomes. Ball right side, and Loney has it. Peralta covers. That'll be the second out. Well, there's Bogaerts. 2 outs with 2 runs in. There's a strike to Bogaerts. Foul ball, nothing at 2. A 2-strike count. Bogaerts at the plate. Into left field. DeJesus headed toward the line. That's going to fall for a base hit. Bogaerts heads for 2, and he's in with a double. An 0-2 pitch, and Bogaerts comes up with his 11th 2-base hit of the season. The 3rd extra base hit of the 7th inning. 2 doubles and a home run.
Well, right here where Peralta tries to quick pitch and Bogaerts ready for it. That ball's up and away, and he pulled it. That's why this didn't have the distance on it, but it did have good placement. And Boston threatening here with 2 outs.
Now it's Dustin Pedroia.
It doesn't get a whole lot easier. Clean shaven Dustin Pedroia.
He's singled in the 4th. Pedroia with good numbers against Peralta as well. The ball gets away, skipping to the backstop. Over to 3rd goes Bogaerts.
Well, this was not a smother by Jose Molina. I think he tries to backhand this ball in the dirt instead of dropping down and just smothering that. That right there is not textbook. Not how you would or should do that at all.
So Bogaerts is at 3rd. It's ruled a wild pitch, but
now what's that do to your confidence to make a pitch down in the zone here?
Well, it takes it away.
Pedroia, right, because he likes the ball up.
This one way up. 2-0. Red Sox getting 2 runs on the pinch hit home run by Gomes. Bogaerts doubled with 2 outs. He's now at third, moving over on the wild pitch. Up the right side. That's going to be out of play. 2-2. Boston in here riding a 9-game losing streak. They've lost 10 of 11. Just trying to do anything they can do to get a win. Peralta trying to stop this here in the 7th. He's 2-2 with Pedroia. And a foul ball. Just a little piece of it. Fouling it off Molina. Fly ball right field. That'll send Myers back. Not yet to the track. He'll make the catch to retire the side. But the Boston Red Sox score 2 on the home run by Gomes. So 2 runs, 3 hits in the top half of the 7th. So this game now tied in the middle of the 7th. Now we join Technical Sergeant Sonia Bryson.
America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains, through the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Sun Sports brought to you by Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. Shop. Choose Nissan.com. By Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife. Available exclusively at Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. And by the Florida Department of Transportation, who reminds you to drive sober or get pulled over. Tie ball game now in the middle of the 7th inning, 3-3. Going into the bottom half of the frame. Defensive changes. Johnny Gomes stays on to play left field after pinch hitting for Bradley. Grady Sizemore moves from left to center field. Craig Breslow, the veteran left-hander, comes on to work the 7th. And Desmond Jennings will pinch hit for David DeJesus to lead it off. So Jennings pairs up against the lefty. A ball, no strikes, the count. Longoria will be next. And then Matt Joyce due. Jennings looks at a strike. Oviedo busy in the Rays bullpen. Two and one.
Well, here we are again, back to even. Battle of the bullpens from here on. Talked about all the length that the Rays have out there, quality arms. We also saw that graphic from earlier where Boston's bullpen, and the one area of their team that's really been excelling during this slide.
Breslow threw a scoreless inning yesterday. Gave up a hit, picked up a couple strikeouts. 3-1 now to Jennings. And he walks him. So pinch hitting. Jennings draws a walk to open the Rays half of the 7th.
Leadoff walks, bad. Leadoff walks to guys with tremendous speed, even worse.
And Evan Longoria will be the hitter.
Leadoff walks to guys with tremendous speed in front of a hitter who homered earlier in the game. Devastating.
Jennings 11 of 14 running. And the pitch to Longoria is a strike. A couple of things to consider here. You look down at the bullpen. David Ross, the backup catcher, had been loosening, just playing catch. It's almost as if he was warming up. The need should arise for him to enter the game. Cut and a miss by Evan. 0-2.
Watch this movement on the pitch from Breslow, down and in, a little cutter.
Center field, a base hit. Jennings on his way to third. It'll be first and third with nobody out. On an 0-2 pitch, a fastball, and Evan lines it into left center. Now the Rays have something cooking.
3 straight hits for Evan Longoria. You know, he swung and missed over that cutter, and then Breslow does him a favor coming back with a more traditional fastball over the plate. Just saw the nasty one. Now he's got some room to maneuver, and he strokes it nicely right out into left field.
Well, this first and third situation with nobody out, and Matt Joyce is due, but Sean Rodriguez was pinch hit. So with the left-hander Breslow out there, Sean Rodriguez gets the call. So the Rays trying to answer the 2 runs the Red Sox scored in the top of the 7th with something of their own here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rodriguez a big cut and a foul ball. Strike 1. Jennings as a pinch hitter walked. He's at third on the base hit by Longoria. High fly ball. Deep to left. Gomes to the wall. Gone. Home run. Sean Rodriguez. A 3-run blast and the Rays lead by 3. It's a battle of pinch hit home runs here in the 7th inning. Gomes hit a 2-run pinch hit home run in the top of the 7th. The Rays counter. They see you and up you one. It's a 3-run home run for Sean Rodriguez. 6-3 Rays.
Boy, how about this answer by the Rays? Right there, middle of the plate, full extension. We know Sean's got juice. No question.
His 6th home run of the year. The Rays get the pinch hit home run. And a 3-run lead. Myers into short right field. Come charging Nava, and he makes the catch. That's the first out.
First baseman, number 21, James Lovey.
Sean Rodriguez delivering the pinch hit home run. First pinch hit home run for the Rays this year, and the first for Sean Rodriguez in his career. And what are you thinking from the Boston dugout right now?
On to Atlanta.
There's Loney. Strike 1. Boston got the home run to tie it. The Rays right back with a pinch hit home run to regain the lead by 3. Blooper into center. That's going to drop in front of Sizemore. Maloney has a hit. Rays with a walk and 3 hits here in the 7th inning. Longoria had caught Sean Rodriguez for the team lead in home runs with his 5th. So Sean gets a chance, pinch hits. Here's number 6 and regains the team lead in home runs. Now Brandon Guyer fouls it back. Strike 1.
You know, and you're starting to see things for the Rays start to come together here. Yeah, the pitching has been outstanding the last 2 weeks. The offense the last couple of nights. I know it took 15 innings last night, but this is a team that hadn't scored more than 6 runs but 2 times in the last 20 games. They've done it back-to-back nights. And I'll tell you, with the way that the pitchers have been going, you give them any kind of offense, any kind of life, you got a chance to reel off some victories, something that this team has done.
One ball, 2 strikes. Josh Beckett has thrown a no-hitter against the Philadelphia Phillies. 128 pitches in the process. Chase Utley the last out, and Beckett throws the no-hitter. Base hit through the hole. Loney's going to go to second, and Geyer has his second hit of the day. Braves have 4 hits and a walk here in this inning.
Out in front, little change up there, and Brandon Geyer finds another hole. He's been swinging the bat well, and the Rays just no let up here.
In that no-hitter, the Dodgers beat the Phillies 6-0. Beckett now 3-1, spinning the no-hitter. Mojica up in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Logan Forsythe in the box. He lofts a high popper into shallow left. Bogart's out from shortstop. It's the second out.
The shortstop, number 11,
Yunel Escobar on his way to the plate. Blue Jays beat the A's. That's a final 3-1. Jay Happ, the winner. He's 4-1. Yunel Escobar. 0-1. The Rays will go into Toronto with the Blue Jays riding a 6-game winning streak. The Rays trying to win their 4th in a row. It's now 1-1. Inning opened on the walk. Pinch hit walk drawn by Jennings. Longoria singled, and Rodriguez hit a pinch hit home run. That's a shot, fair ball up the left field line. Loney heads to the plate. Geyer on his way to the plate. The throw is not in time. Skips by Brzezinski on the double by Escobar. The Rays add 2 more runs. 8-3. Seventh double of the year for Escobar.
Boy, another little cutter, hanging slider, whatever it was. Escobar just rips it over the head of Holt down into the corner. And the Rays off and running here with 2 outs. And here's the throw to try to get Geyer. Not going to be in time.
So the Red Sox forced to make a pitching change. 5-run inning. Loney and Geyer scoring on the 2-base hit. So the Rays now in double figures with 10 hits. They lead 8-3. Edward Mujica will make his 18th appearance with 2 outs and Escobar at second. 2/3 of an inning for Breslow. First pitch is a strike, and Escobar goes over to third. They're ruling indifference there. And now Escobar exchanging some words with the Boston dugout. Tom Foley restraining Escobar. Angel Hernandez over addressing the dugout, and now here comes the rest of the Red Sox, and the Rays are out on the field as well. I think it was Gomes who came in from left field, and we're pushing and shoving again here. Balfour trying to get into it. Shelton there calming him down. Well, Escobar had taken third. It was ruled indifference, and apparently the Red Sox taking exception to that. And Escobar jawing back with the Boston dugout. Catcher David Ross expressing his displeasure.
You know, there's been bad blood between these teams in the past, and with Escobar going to third, you wonder what was said out of the dugout. If anything, I can't imagine Escobar is going to steal or go to third on indifference and then start John. Something may have been said, and then, of course, Escobar responds, and here we go.
See Foley right there trying to restrain Escobar from continuing the conversation.
Well, then it escalates right here.
You see Gomes coming in from left field, and I think the verbal exchange was between Ross and Escobar. So the umpires in the aftermath of all of this trying to sort it out. Well, John Farrell apparently not happy with how Larry Vanover, the crew chief, is seeing this situation.
Well, you wonder if they're going to get Johnny Gomes for coming in and coming after Escobar.
Joe Madden meeting with the umpires, and there's Gomes walking in, and you would think that that might be one of the things, maybe the only thing out of all of this. In many ways it got a little heated, but a lot of pushing and shoving that we normally see. But the Gomes apparently is going to be ejected, and that did not sit well with John Farrell. The Red Sox going to have to shift the defense around a bit. Let's see Escobar wandering down the line, and it would appear that he's going to be gone as well. Escobar being walked off by Angel Hernandez. So right now we can discern that Carp has gone to left field, and Herrera is the new first baseman. And we'll go back to the beginning of this, and it appears that was between Ross and Escobar.
Yeah, something was said out of that Boston dugout, and all of a sudden Escobar turned, responded to it, and you know, these things escalate, more things get said, and Escobar not real happy. And then Johnny Gomes going to come in and get into Escobar's face right here with a push, tell him to get out of here. And that's when the dugouts are going to empty. Right here. There you go. Pushes. Actually, he almost pushed Tom Foley out of the way to get to Escobar.
And you can see Angel Hernandez in there. He was setting a moving pick in a rather physical way on Gomes, just trying to avoid anything else from erupting. So Figueroa will run at third base for Escobar. There's Mike Carp in left now with Herrera at first. Jonathan Herrera playing first base, and Cole Figueroa playing third. Figueroa running at third.
So there was a trade in that scrum. There was a trade.
Yeah, how about that? There's Cole Figueroa, the base runner, running for Escobar. Just a 5-minute delay is all.
Boys will be boys.
Yep. There's ball 2.
There's nothing like a good sprint out of the bullpen, out of the dugout, off the field that gets the blood pumping like you cannot imagine. That adrenaline rush.
In case you forgot, Sean Rodriguez hit a pinch hit 3-run home run in this inning.
That was this inning.
Yeah, it was. Ground ball to short. Bogart's throw to Herrera retires the side. Rays send 9 men to the plate. They score 5. 3 coming on the pinch hit home run by Sean Rodriguez. All of that and a little friendly misunderstanding. 8-3 Rays. Our game summary, it's an 8-3 ball game. Of the 11 runs, 7 have been scored in the 7th. When Boston tied it, they got a pinch hit home run from Johnny Gomes to make it 3-3. Rays get a pinch hit 3-run home run from Sean Rodriguez in the bottom of the 7th. Go on to add 2 more and now lead 8-3 here as we move into the 8th inning.
Now entering the game with his team.
Logan Forsythe will slide over to play shortstop for the Rays. Escobar ejected. Cole Figueroa in the game now. He ran after the ejection, and so Cole is playing second base. Brandon Guyer will slide into left field. The Hazers lifted for the pinch hitter. And Jennings is now in center field after drawing the leadoff walk in the bottom of the 7th. And Juan Carlos Oviedo is on the hill. First pitch into David Ortiz is a strike. We just got word as well that Sean Rodriguez was ejected from the game in that little misunderstanding.
Hey, listen, Sean Rodriguez, not afraid to get physical, aggressive. It's the way he plays.
And strike 2 to Ortiz.
There's been a couple of times where there have been some dust-ups where Sean will stick his nose right in the middle of that.
So Escobar and Rodriguez ejected. Gomes ejected from Boston.
See, yeah. Sean Rodriguez gave the Rays the lead on the scoreboard, and he also gave them the lead in ejections.
Gomes gone, and Ross, who apparently was kind of leading the verbal charge about not liking the idea that Escobar had moved over. The word we get is, of course, he's still there. And that'll take care of Ortiz. Oviedo strikes out Big Poppy.
Oviedo climbed that ladder, get above that swing, a foul tick right into the glove of Jose Molina. I'll tell you, he's been impressive. Watching him come on after being slow out of the gate because of late getting into spring training, Oviedo just continues to impress.
There's Carp. Fastball wide. Carp started the day at first base, now in left with the Gomes ejection. Lifted foul and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boston scored a run in the 3rd. The Rays 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Boston tied it on the Gomes pinch hit home run in the top of the 7th. The Rays grabbed the lead on a 3-run pinch hit home run by Sean Rodriguez. Added 2 more in the bottom of the 7th. A little dust up and then the ejections. The Rays sent 9 men to the plate, scored 5. Carp lifts a fly ball into center. It's Jennings to catch it. So 2 gone. And here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live. The pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Eric Bedard will go to the mound against the Toronto Blue Jays, and Orestes will break down Edwin Encarnacion, who has been hitting home runs all over the place in the month of May for the Blue Jays. It his 12th home run of the month in their game today. Daniel Nava bats with the bases empty and 2 outs. ball, no strikes. Fly ball, left center field. Jennings there for this one. 1-2-3 go the Red Sox in the 8th. Rays lead 8-3.
Currently stationed here at Incirlik Air Base, Turkey, with the 39th Civil Engineering Squadron. I'd like to give a shout out to my wife, Kristen, and my kids, Preston and Madison. I love you, I miss you, and I'll see you in December. Go Rays.
Please join Major League Baseball in supporting veterans who have sacrificed so much to protect our freedoms. Log on to welcomebackveterans.org to see how you can help today. Desmond Jennings will open the bottom of the 8th inning. The breaking ball drops in for a strike from Mojica. Edward Mojica finished off the 7th. Longoria next. A swing and a miss, 0-2. Josh Lukey going in the bullpen for the Rays. One and two. Foul back.
What an impressive rebound here by the Rays on this homestand after dropping those first 2 to Oakland and the 3 straight walk-offs. The way the game is unfolded today. And there's a lot to like in getting ready to head out on the road.
Tap foul, still 1 and 2. Jennings leading off here with Longoria next, and then the DH spot is due, and you see Hannigan with a bat and a helmet. Sean Rodriguez, who was in the DH spot long enough to hit a pinch hit home run and then was ejected in that little dust up between these two teams. Jennings fouls this one out of play. Another souvenir distributed here today. Jennings out on strikes. One away in the 8th. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. There's a little group photo right there.
Group photo with the DJ Kitty hat on 5 of the 7.
Here is Evan Longoria, and the pitch is a strike.
The DJ Kitty hat was wildly popular.
We've seen it everywhere, and it's been big in the photos.
Yeah, big in the you're absolutely right. Big with Todd.
Yeah. Todd set the trend. You know, we had him repeatedly shown wearing that.
And that's why you know it's big, because Todd and that perfectly coiffed hair of his, he's not going to throw something on there haphazardly unless it's pretty cool.
Yeah. 0-2 popped into short right. Nava makes the catch. 2 outs. And now Hannigan, Ryan Hannigan, who is the DH in the absence of now Joyce and Sean Rodriguez. A couple of catchers talking over there, Hannigan and Brzezinski. Hannigan says, okay, now I have to hit.
Leave me alone.
Swing and a miss by Ryan. 1 strike the count. Pitch is high. 1-1. The outside part of the plate makes it 1-2. Myers would be next if Hannigan should get aboard. High fly ball left center. It's Karp looking up, tracking it, and making the catch. We're at the end of 8, on to the 9th. 8-3 Tampa Bay.
Up after the game, it'll be our Rays Live post-game show presented by Checkers. I'll be out in left field along with the rest of Estrada, Dwayne Stats, and Brian Anderson with their thoughts in this game. We'll also hear from Joe Madden, Kelly Nash, gathering interviews in the Rays clubhouse. All that after the game on Rays Live, presented by Checkers. Sean Rodriguez with a big blast as well for the 2nd time in this homestand. Guys, some news coming out of Philadelphia today. Josh Beckett throws the 11th no-hitter in Los Angeles Dodgers history. He gets Chase Utley looking at the 128th pitch. He walked 3. He struck out 6. Beckett throws a no-hitter in a Dodgers 6-0 victory. There you see his line today at Citizens Bank Park. Let's go back to Dwayne at VA.
All right, Todd, thank you. Well, a lot to report on around the country today, and a lot going on in this one. Our Fiat pitching change finds Josh Lukey on the hill. Jay Przinsky leads it off against Lukey. Strokes it toward right center field. That ball will one-hop the fence, and Przinsky's on his way to second with a double. He jumped on that fastball, has his 3rd hit of the day.
As a hitter, 5-run lead by the opposition. Whoever's coming in is going to probably pound the strike zone, fastballs early, and he gets one here that just leaked back across the middle of the plate. Put a good swing on it.
This is Grady Sizemore, the center fielder. That's a strike, a curveball to start him. Yankees have upped their lead to 7-1 on the White Sox. Games in the top of the 8th in Chicago. Popped up left side. Forsythe out from shortstop. Geyer's coming in, and he makes the catch in left.
Yeah, you'd rather have Geyer make that catch if he can get there. He's moving in on that ball, has an easier angle. And so Forsythe, he's going to go until he gets called off, and that's just the way that it works. Geyer able to make the play on the first out of the inning.
Orioles have beaten the Indians. That's a 4-2 final. Jonathan Herrera hitting out of the 9th spot. Pitch is a strike. Herrera entered the game when Gomes was ejected and went into play first, with Karp going out to play left field. The Yankee game, Derek Jeter 4 for 4. His average up to 275. Tanaka went 6 2/3, gave up 5 hits and a run. And a cut and a miss. Foul tip strikeout. Herrera's out on strikes. And that's out number 2.
Good heat down. And you see Herrera with that swing. He just reaching for that and hoping.
Top of the order, Brock Holt. Mookie trying to get the final out. Breaking ball, a little bit high, says Angel Hernandez. Rays trying to complete the sweep, trying to win their 4th consecutive game. Trying to go 5-1 against Boston. Ground ball, that's going to go through into right field. Przinsky will be held at third. So it's first and third with 2 outs. Xander Bogaerts will get a chance to hit.
Brock Holt not going to go down quietly. He gets a pitch that he can get out and around, finds a hole with it. Krasinski running, not going to even venture that. Will Myers coming in to get it in.
Yeah, after watching Brock Holt in this series, you're not surprised that he refused to make the final out.
That's so true. He's been the one guy from Boston in the course of this series that has really stood out.
Xander Bogaerts hit by a pitch and picked up a 2-base hit in the 7th. The pitch inside. Holt moving into second on indifference. Two men on with 2 men out. Up the middle, base hit into center. Krasinski scores. Holt heads to the plate. Bogaerts drives in 2, and that's going to make it 8-5 with 2 gone.
Well, yeah, obviously this is not what you wanted because you got Pedroia coming up here. If he can somehow find his way on base, guess who comes up as the tying run?
Yeah, it's Ortiz.
This ball, I mean, how in the world? That was just tracking Josh Lukey the entire way. That ball was smoked.
And with all of that scenario that you just mentioned in mind, take a peek into the Rays bullpen. There's Grant Balfour.
Yeah, you just never know. You never know.
And here comes Joe Madden. And he's going to go that way. Balfour had been up for a couple hitters. And Madden's going to make a change. Goes out to the bullpen to Grant Balfour. It's now a 3-run game. The base hit by Xander Bogaerts driving in 2, so he'll be at first. Dustin Pedroia will be the hitter with David Ortiz on deck, and Grant Balfour gets the call for his 20th appearance.
Yeah, coming in thinking about 1 out. Leave David Ortiz right in that on-deck circle right after Pedroia and put an end to this game for the Rays.
Well, Pedroia had a base hit back in the 4th inning. He is 1 for 4. And the first pitch is a strike call. Balfour started him with a slider. Cut and a miss. Big cut by Pedroia at the fastball.
Dustin Pedroia likes the fastball up. He likes the fastball up, middle of the plate in.
A 2-strike count.
2 quality pitches to jump out in front. He is ready to go.
Four upstairs. Fastball up there, and Pedroia lays off. He's carried an 8-3 lead into the 9th. It's now 8-5. He did not offer. Bogart's moving into second base, where it's now a 2-2 count on the hitter Dustin Pedroia. Ground ball to third, comes up on Longoria, throw to first. Rays win it. Rays win this one and sweep the Boston Red Sox. Pedroia out third to first. It's an 8-5 final. And for Joe Madden, his 700th career win as the skipper of the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays scored 5 times in the 7th inning and win this one. They have won 4 in a row. The Red Sox have dropped 10 straight, 11 out of 12, and the Rays come away with a sweep of the Red Sox, a 3-game sweep, and they go 4-2 on this homestand against the Oakland Athletics and the Boston Red Sox. Joel Peralta is going to get the win in this game. Greg Breslow, the losing pitcher, a save for Balfour, his 9th in 11 opportunities. 3 hours and 27 minutes, the time of the game, before 26,199. Let's go to the field right now and Todd Callis.
Dwayne, thanks. Longo, Thursday afternoon, you guys were down to your final strike. You could have gone 10 games under 500. Now you leave town 5 games under 500. I know it's early, but this could be a big point in the season for you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, walk-off wins are big for momentum. And although they're stressful and it's not what you want, you know, they have a way of propelling you. So this is a big win. Big series win, and hopefully we can carry it on the road, you know, against a good Toronto team right now.
For you guys to come from 5-0 down yesterday and put up 6 and today put up 8 more, feeling good about the offense contributing because the pitching's been so good?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's there right now, and we just really have to ride that high. We've been swinging the bats well, getting a lot of production from all the spots, and it's a good sign.
How about you? It seems like you found a little bit during this homestand. You feeling better at the plate?
The results are there, you know, so that's always a good thing. But, you know, this game's all about feel. And I lost it there for quite a while. And it's just nice to go up there and feel a little bit more comfortable in the box. And the results were better this homestand.
Red Sox end up in that 9th inning getting the tying run on deck. Were you surprised that they took issue with Uni taking that base at third base?
You know, it's all teams have been there before, and they're going through a rough patch right now. And I think you know, sometimes emotions tend to boil over, and so it's part of the game. You know, I don't think anybody's mad at anybody. It is what it is, and I'm just happy we got out of here with the win because I don't want to excite anybody over there and wake them up.
Congratulations on the W.
Thanks.
Evan Longoria, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Rays winners. It's an 8-5 final there. Rays over the Red Sox. Back with more in just a moment.